Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD Final Remix Chapter Pro Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD Final Electric Boogaloo 2 Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD Final Chapter Prologue may have one of the most ridiculous full titles in the history of gaming, but how does it stack up against the last two collections? 1.5 and 2.5 both included a main series Kingdom Hearts and a spin-off in addition to a movie-fied version of another spin-off. 2.8 appears to basically be all spin-off, but it does do some things differently to ensure it's worth picking up. Well, to start things off, Dream Drop Distance may have been a 3DS game before this, but that doesn't make it any less important to the series. It's actually an incredibly important entry. In fact, the reason they made this 2.8 HD collection was due to the fact Dream Drop Distance was a crucial part of the series you are going to want to play in order to fully understand what's happening in Kingdom Hearts 3, whenever that gets released. Dream Drop Distance is much better played on a console as well. The controls translated well, they actually feel a lot better than they did on 3DS. In addition to that though, we basically have two brand new Kingdom Hearts entries. The first one is Kingdom Hearts Key Back Cover, which is more or less a prequel movie for the entire series. It's set 100 years before the events of Birth by Sleep, and it's actually quite an interesting little movie. I uploaded the full movie in all its 1080p PS4 Pro glory, which you can watch by clicking the little eye in the top right hand corner, but be warned, it is slightly over 1 hour long. The third piece of this puzzle though is a brand new Kingdom Hearts game. It's not the longest by any means, roughly 3 or so hours from start to finish. It's called 0.2 Birth by Sleep A Fragmentary Passage, and it's a sequel of sorts to Birth by Sleep, or at least the game takes place after the events of Birth by Sleep. The coolest thing about this though is that it was made using the same engine and technology that Kingdom Hearts 3 is using, so it's meant to give us a taste of what Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be like. Continuing the food analogy, it was like being at a party with various tapas plates being passed around, and you got a piece of something that tasted so incredible, but there wasn't any left when you went back for seconds. It was almost too good to be that short. 0.2 Birth by Sleep A Fragmentary Passage is yet another name that is way too long. Some might make the joke that the title is longer than the actual game, but I am totally not saying that. Despite the game's length though, it's actually an incredibly enjoyable experience. The new mechanics and the new graphical engine, it's simply fantastic. There is one part of the game centered on mirrors, and the visuals here are simply stunning. The combat feels fresher than ever. I generally felt the combat in Kingdom Hearts always felt slightly off. Still enjoyable, but just not quite right. And in Birth by Sleep A Fragmentary Passage, I'd say the combat has felt better than it ever has. The other feature of the game that is not mentioned all that much is the challenges section. These are actually a lot of fun. There are simple things like kill 30 of a certain enemy, but there are also actual challenges, like using your blizzard spell to create an ice rail and to travel on it for a, quote, long time. The distance isn't actually spelled out for you, so you have to search high and low in the game to find a long flat area to complete the challenge. The challenges artificially extend the length of the game, but they do it in a fun way. Who doesn't love a good obscure challenge? If you really aren't interested in getting a taste of Kingdom Hearts 3, then I'm not exactly sure why you're here, but if the 3-hour-long teaser doesn't add much weight, you still have the remaster of Dream Drop Distance. I didn't want to talk a lot about it since it is just a HD remake, but I will reiterate how important it is to the overall narrative of the Kingdom Hearts series. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle, and not only that, it is one of the most enjoyable Kingdom Hearts games ever made. The drop sequences are somewhat reminiscent of Gummy Ships, and I quite enjoy them. The story is top-notch, if not a little convoluted, but it wouldn't be a Kingdom Hearts game without a slightly obscure story. The old cast of characters is great as always, and the game feels so much better on a home console. Dream Drop Distance doesn't feel like a 3DS port at all. If you haven't played the 3DS version, then you would honestly be in shock that they had a game of this quality working on the 3DS at all, though I am often surprised at the quality of 3DS titles. Dream Drop Distance just doesn't feel out of place being the main attraction in this collection, as opposed to Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the main attractions in the last two collections. 1 and 2 being the A few. It has to be said, 0.2 Birth by Sleep: A Fragmentary Passage has less than stellar performance. There are noticeable frame rate drops and stuttering playing on a PS4 Pro and 4K TV. On the upside, the game does look excellent. Here's a little tip for PS4 Pro owners as well. If you go into the settings on the console and force your video output to 1080p, the game will actually run a lot smoother. It just won't be in 4K. So there is a trade-off, but it just depends what you care about. I would have liked to see this added into the in-game menus, which you could toggle on and off, similar to Final Fantasy XV, which has a 4K mode or a 1080p high performance mode. Other than that, everything else seems to run very smoothly. The Kingdom Hearts key back cover movie runs pretty much perfectly smooth despite being rendered in the Unreal 4 engine, just like Birth by Sleep: A Fragmentary Passage, and the Dream Drop Distance remaster runs perfectly. Damn good. I don't know what else to say. I've been playing a lot of games for review recently, and it seems like I either find nothing memorable or I remember absolutely everything. Kingdom Hearts 2.8 definitely falls into the latter category. I even love the title and menu themes. It is perfectly Kingdom Hearts, and it is perfectly perfect. What else is there to say about Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD Final Chapter Prologue, other than cool it with the ridiculous names please Square? Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD is pretty much a must-buy for Kingdom Hearts fans. Regardless of whether or not you've played Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS already, it's a much better experience on the PS4, and Birth by Sleep: A Fragmentary Passage is a simple masterpiece that has got me boarding the next hype train all the way to Kingdom Hearts 3ville. Thanks for watching. If you liked this review, hit that like button, comment, and subscribe to see more of me and everything I do. And if you enjoy my content, you could consider supporting my channel on Patreon, and I will love you forever. Other than that, I'll see you all soon.